Hello everyone. Welcome to your vinyasa practice. My name is Tessa. We're going to start out in child's pose today. So go ahead and make your way to your mat. If you like, you can take child's pose with the big toes touching and the knees wide. This, as you come forward, will let the belly kind of soften between the inner thighs. Expand the rib cage and allow you to breathe a little bit deeper into the diaphragm. So we'll start to walk the hands forward. And you can stretch the arms straight forward, softening the elbows and forearms down to the mat. Same with the forehead. If that's too much on the shoulders, if it pinches the shoulders at all, just stack your hands right underneath your forehead so you get a little bit of broadening across the chest and collarbone. Either way, start to soften hips to heels. Breathing in and out through the nose. Feel yourself settle in here, arrive. Let's take about 3 more breaths in child's pose. On your next inhalation, start to walk your hands underneath the shoulders or pull the heart forward. Stack your knees underneath your hips so you're in tabletop. And then maybe walk your hands one handprint forward so they're just slightly in front of the shoulders. Inhale, pull the heart forward. Let the belly draw down, let the tailbone lift. And then as you exhale, bending the elbows, rounding the spine, hips back towards the heels, towards that child's pose. Inhaling forward, tabletop into a little bit of a back bend. Exhaling, pulling the hips back, softening the elbows and forearms down, rounding the spine, hips to heels, child's pose. Twice more, inhale forward. And exhaling back. One last time, forward. And exhaling back. Inhaling forward to tabletop, curling toes under, pressing down through the hands. Imagine like you could spin your biceps forward so they're facing the top of the mat. You can kind of see that little bit of rotation of my elbows move forward. And then press into the hands, lift the hips up and back, and find your first downward facing dog. So that little bit of rotation with the biceps and the elbows forward helps to broaden collarbone, can make a little bit more space for the head to relax between the arms. And then when you're down dog, bend both of your knees. Both of your knees bend. Feel like you could hollow out the pit of your stomach and kind of tuck your tailbone under, like the tailbone's reaching for the backs of the knees. And keep that in place as you press through your strong arms and then lengthen out through the backs of the legs. Heel bones heavy. Take one more breath here. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Set the knees to the mat, tabletop. And then just go ahead and stand up on your knees here. So we'll add on a little bit. We'll kind of move down towards child's pose with arm variations. So the inhale, the arms will sweep out and up. And then the exhale, the arms will sweep behind us. You can even stack your hands and rest them on the low back. And then you're going to round forward, turn your gaze over towards your right. Pressing into the feet, the shins, the knees, standing up, reach the arms out and up. Deep breath in here. And then exhaling, hands behind the back. As you're rounding forward, you're turning towards your left shoulder with the gaze. It's more of an active in and out of child's pose, dynamic movement in and out of child's pose. Inhaling, coming up, reach through the arms. Exhale, arms sweep behind you. Bend at your waist, look over towards your right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, as you bow forward, look over towards your left. One more time each side, inhaling up. Exhaling, looking towards your right. Inhaling, coming up. And then exhaling, looking towards your left. And then we'll come back up. We're just gonna hang out on our knees here for a few moments and add a little bit of arm variation. So you'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Now this time as you inhale the arms up, left arm's gonna sweep all the way towards the ceiling, and the right hand's just halfway, so shoulder height. And then exhale down, we'll switch sides. Right arm sweeps towards the ceiling, left arm shoulder height. Exhale down. Just continue with that. We're just switching sides as we inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Okay, so clear the slate, both arms reach out and up. And then exhale, hands move through center. We're going to come back to tabletop. From tabletop, curl the toes, press through the hands. You're kind of spinning those biceps, elbows forward, press into your hands, downward facing dog. And do that little bit of bending into both knees, hollowing out the pit of the belly, tucking the tailbone towards the backs of the knees. See if you can keep that. And then lengthen out through the legs. Heel bones heavy. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. One more breath in. Exhale, shift forward to high plank. Pause in high plank. Lengthen out, reach the heel bones back, squeeze your inner thighs together. Reach the crown of the head forward. Stay with me for 3 more breath cycles. Last 2. Last 1. Set your knees down, come all the way onto your belly. We're going to do a little bit of, I like to think of it as like flossing for the back muscles, especially when as a society we tend to sit a lot these days at our desks, in our cars, at chairs of various locations. So you're on your belly, legs are stretched straight back behind you, hands are like underneath the upper rib cage, underneath the shoulders about. Let your forehead rest here. We're just going to move through low cobra for a few times. So forehead rests on the mat. Breath in, breath out. Then inhale, press the floor away, lift the heart. Doesn't need to be your biggest back bend. Shrug your shoulders down your spine. And then exhale, release, forehead back to the mat. Again, inhale, lift the heart, the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart and the head. We're going to stay here with the upper body and stretch the right leg up and back. So just the right leg's lifting up and back. Doesn't have to be high again. And then exhale everything back to the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, the chest first. And then left leg stretches up and back. Doesn't matter how high it goes. I want you to think about a nice, long and strong left leg. Exhale, lower. Press the floor away, lift the heart. Stretch the right leg up and back. Stay there. Add the left leg up and back. So both feet are floating off the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower. Second side, inhale, press the floor away, lift the heart. Lift that left leg. Keep that. Add the right leg lifting up and back. Okay, one more time to each side. Exhaling, lower. Inhale, heart lifts first, then right leg, then left leg. Pause here, breathe in. Exhale, lower. One last time, second side, leading. Inhale, lift the heart. Left leg lifts. Keep that. Right leg lifts. Inhale here. Exhale, lower. Pressing up into your hands and your knees. Move your hips all the way back to child's pose if you like, or up to upward facing dog. Let's take 2 breath cycles. Pausing and breathing. One more breath here. So if you're in child's pose, meet me up in downward facing dog. Take a wider stance with your feet in your down dog, like outer edges of the mat, wide stance. And then walk your hands back to meet your feet. Okay, so you have this wide stance with your feet. You're going to turn your toes slightly out, heels slightly in, bend your knees, sink your hips like you're in a squat. See if you can get your elbows to kind of press into the inner knees and maybe lift the hands. And then from here, we're going to walk back out into high plank. So your toes will rotate forward. You'll position your feet to high plank. And then we'll lift the hips up and back, down dog with the wide stance through the feet. Walk the hands back of the mat. Turn the toes out, bend the knees, sink the hips. Elbows just kind of gently pressing the knees apart in the squat. Hands down, walk yourself forward, high plank. So make sure you're adjusting the feet as you move into your high plank. Pause and breathe in there. Press through the hands, hips lift, down dog. Let's do that one more time. Widen the stance, feet are wide, hands walk back. Toes turn out, bend the knees, sink the hips. Lift the chest a little bit. This variation of Malasana, it's higher than traditional Malasana is. Hands back to the mat, walking the body out, high plank. Deep breath in. Lift the hips, breath out, downward facing dog. Two breaths here. Walk the hands back to meet the feet. Let your head hang heavy. Uttanasana, your first forward fold. So just hang out here for a few moments. If you want to bend the knees right and left, go ahead. You could also grab your opposite elbows. It's always an option. A couple more breaths. Forward fold, Uttanasana. And then we're going to reverse uncurl the spine like a rag doll, coming all the way up to standing. So head comes up very last. Arms are just heavy. Eventually, you're standing at the back of your mat. Adjust my camera so you can see me. There we go, that's better. All right, so back of the mat. Both arms sweep out and up. You lift onto the ball mounds of the feet, lift your heels a little. Exhale, lower, arms relax. So remember what we did on our knees with our hands. One arm's gonna sweep out to the side, the opposite arm's gonna lift overhead. Maybe the heels lift, and then exhale, lower. And then the opposite arm goes up towards the ceiling. Opposite arm goes straight out to the side, shoulder height. Exhale, relax. A couple more times on each side. Inhale, lift up. If you're losing your balance and wobbling, that's kind of the point. Helps to build strength and resiliency in the joints, especially the ankles and the knees and the hips. One more time each side. Inhale, lift up. Last side. Exhale, release. Okay, hands to the hips. We're just going to gently step that right foot forward. Doesn't need to be a super wide stance. What I'm looking for here is 45-degree angle with that back foot. It's kind of pointing to the upper left-hand corner. Front foot straight forward and a little bend in the knee. Okay, so arms here, adding on. Elbows by the sides, palms facing up. This is going to be your inhale. You're going to pull your shoulder blades back together. It's like they could touch on the back body. And then your exhale, you're going to keep that bend in the knees. Press your palms forward, round the upper back, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, palms face the ceiling, pull the elbows into the sides of the waist, shoulder blades squeeze on the back. Exhale, press the palms away, round the chin in. Inhale, little back bend. Exhale, shoulder blades are spreading away from one another. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, one more time. Exhale. And then we'll lift that back heel up. That left heel lifts up. Hands come down to the mat. High plank. Option to move through chaturanga if you like it. Otherwise, you can come all the way down to the belly. Another round of low cobra or upward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, either back to child's pose or down dog, depending on your energy level. What's appropriate for you today. Take 2 breaths in your stillness, whatever that looks like for you. We'll meet up in down dog if you're not already there. From downward facing dog, you're going to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Ragdoll the upper body, reverse uncurl the spine. Coming to standing. Inhale, right arm sweeps up to the ceiling, left arm stays shoulder height. Maybe you lift onto the heels. Exhale, lower. Second side, left arm's going to reach up for the ceiling. Right arm stays shoulder height. Exhale, lower. Hands to the hips. Left foot, easy step forward. Doesn't have to be huge stance. Doesn't have to be a super deep lunge either. So that back foot, the right foot's like 45 degrees. Left foot pointing straight forward. Little bend in that knee. However deep it is for you is great. Elbows to the sides of the waist, palms face up. Shoulder blades are squeezing on your back. This is your inhale. And your exhale, you're pressing the palms away. You're rounding your spine, curling the chin in. Legs stay the same the whole time. Just the upper body is moving. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. One more time all the way through. Inhaling, pull shoulder blades together. Exhale, feel the shoulder blades spread. And then relax the arms, lift that right heel. Right heel lifts, palms down, high plank. Option to move through any sort of vinyasa you like. That could look like cat-cow. You could skip it all together. We'll find that stillness. Maybe it's child's pose. Maybe it's down dog. We'll take about 3 breath cycles. If you're in child's pose, we'll meet up in down dog. Hands will walk back to meet the feet. Reverse uncurl the spine, come to standing. I'm going to choose a foot to step forward and then turn the feet to parallel. So you have a wide-legged stance. Feet are parallel with one another. It's like you're straddling the width of your mat. Little bend in the knees. Hands just resting right in front of the low belly, the pelvis area. We'll inhale to just float the hands up. Imagine like you had a beach ball that you're kind of holding lightly in between the hands, and you're lifting and lowering that beach ball with the breath. So inhaling, let it float up. Exhaling, press it down. A couple more times like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's straighten out through the legs. We'll turn the right toes towards the top of the mat and kind of angle that back foot to parallel the short edge of the mat. So basically you have like a warrior two stance with your legs. Bend that right knee. Again, it doesn't have to be super deep. That's not really the point here. We're mobilizing upper back, thoracic spine, and low back extensors and flexors. Just stack your hands at your heart here. Okay, so in this variation of warrior two, all we're doing is rotating. We're tipping that right shoulder forward, keeping the legs as they are, and then coming back up. Tipping the right shoulder forward, kind of hinging at the waist, coming back up. And just continue. So when we move from the core, from the rib cage, shoulders are kind of secondary here. I want you to figure out how to utilize that core, how to open up the rib cage first. So you're moving from your center. Next time you come forward, right shoulder, maybe it stays there. The arms might open up. Just take a moment here to breathe in, spreading the arms wide if you like. You can also keep the hands stacked at the heart. It's kind of a sweet place to rest. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's come all the way back up through center. Turn the right toes to parallel with the left toes. Turn the left toes forward, top of the mat. Bend into the left knee. Second side, warrior two stance with the legs. Hands again, they're resting at the heart. Maybe you want to play with stacking a different hand on top. All you're going to do, keeping the chest squared straight forward, dip that left shoulder towards the left knee. You really don't have to go far here to feel that sensation. Come back up. Remember, the legs are both active. You're actively pressing down through that right foot. When you start to feel your right shoulder round forward, you've gone too far. So this movement might be really small for you. That's okay. A couple more times. Keep it slow. Move with your breath. Come back up. We'll hold this side bend. Maybe you'll spread your arms wide. I can feel that difference here. What happens to the rib cage? Do you lose any of that? Because a lot of the sensation starts to move into the shoulder, which is fine. It's not a bad thing. But first, notice how the rib cage pulls back, the chest opens, and then the shoulders kind of ancillary. Take a deep breath in here. Deep breath out. One more inhale, press into both those feet. Come all the way back up. Right foot becomes parallel with left foot. Hands to the hips. Now I'll give you an option. Hands can stay at the hips as you hinge forward into your fold, or you can interlace the hands behind the back, stretch the knuckles away from the waist, and kind of sink the belly in between the thighs. Knuckles can reach up for the ceiling. If you're taking this variation, I recommend bending the knees so you can get a sense of moving into the belly of the muscle and not taking so much of the stretch in the knee joint itself. Head's moving towards the mat. Let the head be heavy, regardless of how far away the floor is. Just let the neck go. And if the bind's too much for you with the knuckles behind the back and stretching up, just bring the hands down to the mat. If you still have that bind, release it. Hands walk underneath the shoulders. Find your halfway lift in your fold. You're going to take a quarter turn to the top of your mat, stepping into high plank. Option to move through one final vinyasa flow here. Remember your options for those. And then we'll meet in child's pose. Settling into your child's pose, let's take 3 breaths. Last 2. Last 1. Okay, so from your child's pose, we'll come up to the knees. And we'll just cross the heels so we can move the hips back over the feet, extend the legs forward, and then come all the way down onto the back. So the arms are going to stretch out wide like a big capital T shape here. Play with the rotation of the palms. So see how it feels on your shoulders with the palms facing upward. Does that feel good? Does that feel relaxing? Is it pulling on the joint? Maybe try flipping the palms to face down. What does that feel like? So where can you find the most relaxation and softness across the shoulder, the chest, and the neck? Palms face in that direction. From there, pick up the feet and kind of hug the knees into the chest without the hands. So hands stay as they are, big capital T shape. And you're squeezing your thighs in towards your chest with the strength of your legs and your core. Knees are going to rotate from here off to your left. Go slow. On your inhale, come back through center. And knees rotate to your right. Again, just going slow. Both shoulder blades staying on the mat the whole time. So that's going to tell you how far you can rotate. There's no goal here to get the leg to the mat, the outer leg to the mat. You're just finding a little bit of rotation through the core, through the spine, while keeping both shoulders in the back of the head on the mat. Now here's one additional option. As your knees move off to the left, your gaze can turn over to the right. And then same thing, opposite side, knees moving to the right, gaze can turn over to your left. Just continue with this a few more rounds. One more time in each direction. And the next time the knees move towards your right, we're going to pause there. If you have pillows around you at home or blankets, you can rest the outer edge of the right leg on that pillow. That should allow the shoulder blades to remain a little bit heavier on the mat and the hips to soften. Let's find some stillness here. We'll take about 5 breaths. Last breath in, breath out. Nice and slow inhale back through center with just the legs. And then moving the knees off to your left. Maybe there's a second pillow, or you're moving your pillow or your blanket off to that second side to catch the outer edge of the leg. Softening in here. 5 breath cycles. Maybe you close your eyes. Start to draw your awareness inward as you prepare for Shavasana. Last 2 breath cycles. One more. Inhale, knees back through center. Any last shape shifting movement you'd like to take, like happy baby or Apanasana, hugging the knees into the chest. Just take a few moments to make those final movements. We're going to give ourselves at least 1 full minute of stillness and silence. So I'll invite you to lengthen out on your back or take your legs up the wall or find an upright seated meditation. Whatever is going to afford you the most stillness. Relaxing the shoulders down your back, slightly tilting the chin towards the chest. Deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Shavasana. Please feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you can. If you need to move on with your day, start to awaken fingertips, toes. You can circle out the ankles and the wrists, maybe moving your head side to side. And breathe in and stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, rolling off to a side. We'll press into our hands and come up to an upright seat. I would like to provide you with an option to take a mudra for the month of February. I'll be utilizing Ganesha Mudra, which is helpful in terms of cultivating a sense of confidence. So left palm faces up, right palm faces down. You interlock the fingers and rest that in the lap. Again, I'll say left palm up, right palm down, interlock the fingers, resting in the lap. Relax the shoulders, let your eyes close. Breathing in, feel that nice proud spine, strong body. You might visualize, when in your life have you felt the most confident? When in your life have you felt the most confident? Imagine what you looked like, what you were wearing. Even if you can't remember, just visualize what comes up. How did you hold yourself? What was your posture like? What was the felt sense in the body? Just giving thanks that that is already something that you possess, already something that lives inside of you. Joining the hands together at the heart, bowing the chin into the chest with reverence and gratitude for our practice. May we use the fruits to serve our highest good. May we share it with those around us that we love and who could use healing. Together we send love and healing to all sentient beings. May they be happy. May they be free. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Be feeling good. Remember to take care of yourselves. Drink water, eat good food. Come back again soon.